What is up, everybody? It is Kawabi here, bringing you my first ever Pokemon Unite video that's not on Pokemon Unite yet, because as of this recording, it comes out in 2 days. I've watched a lot of gameplay beta from the Japanese beta that happened a couple weeks ago, though. And I watched people like Shady Penguin and Hero Volti were the two biggest ones I've watched. And Pokemon just released this image 2 hours ago with 16 items, finally telling us what they do, what they are, and all like the specs and whatnot to them. So I'm going to be going over those this video, giving my thoughts, opinions, if I think they're going to be OP or not, and rating them on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being really bad, 10 being might be overpowered. And this is post-production and post-editing, but I'm just letting you know, if an item specifically interests you, I'm going to be leaving timestamps in the comments, so you can just click and go straight to that item. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so keep in mind this is all just speculation, so I don't know for sure what's going to be broken or what's not. I could be completely wrong, but these are just my theories and ideas about these items. So getting into the first one here, it's called Buddy Barrier. When a Pokemon uses its Unite move, that Pokemon and nearby allied Pokemon with the lowest HP are granted shield equal to 20% of their max HP. Okay, so it's a pretty standard item. It's more like a team fight oriented one. I think that's pretty cool. It could be used on anybody. It doesn't really have a role or theme it fits into. I could see this more in like probably a tank, like a frontliner tank, if I had to choose one role, just because it'd make the most sense that the tank would be, well, taking the most damage. And it would be like in the center of the team fight, you know, and everybody would be playing around it. And that 20% shield could be pretty good depending on what Pokemon it's used. Obviously, if it's used on like a lower HP Pokemon, like a Pikachu, that's still good. Like 20% extra of its max HP as shield is huge and could definitely allow that Pikachu or whatever Pokemon to get more eliminations. But I can't see this item being like broken. I can see it being like a standard normal item that would be run on maybe like a top tank or whatnot. So I'd have to give this one probably like a 6 out of 10. Okay, for the second item here, we're going to be looking at the Focus Band. This one says when the Pokemon drops to the low HP, then each second for 3 seconds, it recovers 2% of the HP it has lost. There's a couple things to address here. I don't know how strong this one's going to be. It's hard to rate because low HP is super vague. That could mean like 10% HP. Does it mean like a 500 HP minimum? So until we know more specifics about that, it doesn't seem very good even after that because it recovers 2% of the HP it has lost for 3 seconds each second. So that's 6% HP. It just doesn't feel like a very powerful item compared to other things on this list. I would say as right now, this is looking like a 2 out of 10. This is looking like pretty weak. I don't know why you use it compared to like the 14 other items that we're going to be listing off here. But like I said, I could be completely wrong and this could be absolutely busted. But as it reads right now, this one is definitely one of the weaker ones on the list. Alright, for the third one we're going to be looking at, it's going to be Assault Vest. When the Pokemon is not in combat, they are granted a shield that nullifies special attack damage equal to 9% of their maximum HP. So this one's kind of busy. There's a lot going on here. So first of all, not in combat. That's important to note. So you're not going to be looking to get this in a fight. You're going to be looking to try to get this before a fight. We don't know the cooldown on that. If that shield is constant, if there's like a 10-20 second cooldown, that could make a huge difference on how powerful this item would be. And there's also the factor that the shield only nullifies special attack damage. So obviously if there's special attackers on the enemy team, Assault Vest would be the item to use. But there's a lot of physical attackers. I'm thinking like Garchomps, Crustles, like Absols. You're not going to be wanting using this Assault Vest. And that 9% of the max HP, also a third part to this, 9% is pretty good for having like a pretty consistent shield. The only problem I see is, again, if you're using this on like, you wouldn't be using this on a attacker or like weak HP Pokemon. Like, I don't think you're going to be using Assault Vest on a Cramorant. Or like, as I've said before, Pikachu. But if you meet the conditions, which are a lot of special attack damaging on the enemy team, you having quite a bit of HP, and being somebody who's not going to be in combat the whole entire game, I could see this item being pretty good. But still, I'm going to have to give it like a 4 out of 10. The next item we're going to be looking at is probably the weirdest one that I've seen on the list so far. It's the Exp Share. So while Pokemon has the fewest EXP points on its team, it gains 2 EXP points per second. However, it will no longer receive shared XP points when the teammate defeats a wild Pokemon. So I'm not going to rate this one on a scale of 1 to 10. I just want to get out of the way now because it's such a niche item. Like, I don't know what kind of Pokemon is expecting to be behind so far that it's gonna like get 2 XP points per second. And I feel as if the EXP points you get while defeating a wild Pokemon will be plenty good enough, and like the EXP just seems like a worse item to get XP unless for whatever reason you know you're gonna be super behind. And the only people I see knowing they're gonna be super behind is people who are bad, but like I don't know how to phrase it weirdly. Maybe I'm reading this wrong. You guys in the comments can tell me below, but like it's so weird. It feels like it tailors to such a small niche that it won't be used at all. But that's just my thoughts. I think this one could be good. I don't know, to be honest. I just don't. So if you guys want to have any thoughts or comments, I'd love to know that. Maybe I'm, like I said, reading this wrong. But from what I see here, this is not going to be a good item. So here we go. Our next item is a Float Stone. This increases the movement speed by 10% when the Pokemon is not in combat. I think this item could be really good on speedsters. So thinking like Talonflame or like Greninja. People like that who have fast movement abilities and their whole point is to like get dunks off in the enemy base. The 10% is it's not a super substantial stat when you think about it, but when you take an already fast Pokemon like Talonflame and add 10% to that could be definitely significant. And I like how it's not flat, it just says when not in combat. So whoever's going to be looking to dunk the most on your team, like I said, the Greninjas, Talonflames, Pikachus, people who are faster, have ults that can get you across lanes or whatnot, are going to be looking to have this. I think this is the first item I'm going to give above a 5. I'm going to have to give this one like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Just because I think this item could be super effective late game. But you're definitely having some trade-off early game, in my opinion. Because your speed obviously scales with level. So maybe it won't be that good. Maybe it'll be... I think it's definitely one of the stronger items on the list. But then again, it also kind of aiming for that niche of the speedster Pokemon. But I could see myself using the Float Stone personally, because those are the types I think I'll be using when the game comes out in 2 days. Alright, next item we're going to be using is a pretty simple one. Wise Glasses increases special attack by 3. Obviously, they're going to be used on special attackers like your Greninjas, your Pikachus, your Cinderaces. I think this could be a pretty standard item. We don't have a great understanding of how Pokemon Unite stat work right now, so we don't know if 3 is a large number or a pathetic number. But if you're a special attacker, you can't go wrong with putting this item on, as it looks right now. Unless 3 is absolutely, like, pitiful, but I don't think it would be. Or else this item would just have no use. So I think that's pretty interesting, and I'd give this a 5 out of 10, right smack in the middle. Not good, not bad, just a decent standard item. So the next item here is our special attack specs. When a Pokemon scores a goal, its special attack increases by 8. So there's a couple things to note here. This is already seeming pretty strong, as the special attack increases double that of the scope lens or the previous item. That was only 3, this one's 8, and that's every time you score a goal. And that seems pretty significant, especially if you're obviously one of the Pokemon there trying to score a goal and you're a special attacker. I think this item could be absolutely broken in the right hands, because it doesn't say like score a certain amount. So it's not like you have to score 10 every time to get that special attack increase by 8. You could just literally get one camp, like what's Pokemon you could get? You could get one Corphish, dunk, get one Corphish, dunk. That's 16 special attack points. I think that's absolutely insane. I think this, like I said, this item could be absolutely broken, but you'd have to have like the skill set or like play around the Pokemon to get the dunks off early. Because obviously late game you have bigger point goals because you get Zapdos, or the camps obviously give more points, so you'll be dunking less late game. So this is definitely one of those like scale early item, stack those statistics up early. And so I'm going to have to give this a 9 out of 10 just because of the way I see it playing out in my head. I think this item is going to be absolutely insane. Alright, so the last item, or not the last item, the 8th item we have here, the halfway point, is the Energy Amplifier. After a Pokemon uses its Unite move, the damage the Pokemon deals is increased by 7% for a short time. A couple things to note here, 7% doesn't seem very high. We've had a lot of stats, a lot of base stats like 3 and the 8, and then we've had a lot of percentage stats like 10, 7. So 7% could be significant. It's hard to say. Definitely late game it will be significant. On like a Pokemon like Garchomp or who's another Pokemon that does insane damage late game. Like your Cinderaces, like your Greninjas, those people that can absolutely hard carry. Again, it says a short time, very vague. We don't know if that's 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 7 seconds. And so this item will definitely have its effectiveness. If I were to put it to 1 to 10, I would need to know what that short time is. But right now it looks like probably a 6 or a 7 in my opinion, because late game on a carry, this could be quite insane. Alright, so our next item will be leftovers here. When the Pokemon is not in combat, it occurs 1% of the max HP every second. I could see this being good on like your Eldegoss, Snorlaxes, Crustles, Pokemon with high max HP, your Slowbros even. But there's a couple things to note. Again, out of combat, so you can't be fighting anything or anybody, and 1% isn't a lot, because I think your best healing will still be in the citrus berries near your spawn, and worst case scenario, you'll need 99 seconds to fully recover your HP, assuming you're at 1%, and that's an absurd amount of time, especially in Unite, where things are moving pretty fast. You kind of gotta go from place to place, battle to battle. And honestly, you'd probably be just better off basing and then relaunching on a secondary dunk point. So I think this item could be standard for those high health Snorlaxes and whatnot, but for everybody else, it'd probably be like 3 out of 10. That's what I'd put on it. Doesn't seem super broken, but it seems like if you have nothing else, it could be useful. Our next item here is going to be the Rocky Helmet. When a Pokemon receives a certain amount of damage, damage is dealt to nearby opposing Pokemon equal to 3% of those Pokemon's max HP. So basically, if you're attacking, say, somebody like a Snorlax, and you do enough damage, this Rocky Helmet will trigger, and you will take 3% of your total max HP in damage. It seems kind of weird, but I could also see this being pretty good for chip damage, especially, again, on something like a tank or something that can take a lot of hits, because, well, again, it doesn't say that certain amount of damage, not specific. We don't know if that's a percentage, an exact number, like 500 HP, but if this can trigger multiple times in a row and has not a lot of cooldown, this could be pretty powerful in long sustained team fights. I'm going to give this one probably a 6 out of 10. I think it's a little more powerful than average, and definitely in the right hands, but like most of the other items, or I'd say all of the items here, you really gotta be in a specific role, Pokemon position, for these to get maximum effectiveness. And as maximum effectiveness, I don't know if Rocky Helmet will be that busted, but maybe I'm not thinking like fully through it, and if you guys think this will be, let me know, but I can't really see it being too strong. So the next item is the Muscle Band. When a basic attack hit, the damage is increased by 1% of the opposing Pokemon's remaining HP. So that's kind of a busy sentence, but I can see this being absolutely absurd, because while 1% is not a lot, you gotta remember this is basic attacks. So like on Pokemon like Garchomp, or like maybe even like a Venusaur, where I could see it doing auto attacks more than like ability attacks, this could be pretty broken, especially like if you've seen any gameplay footage. We know from the beta, Garchomp's absolutely absurd, and if you can keep getting, and his attack speed's fast, so if that 1% stacks up quick enough, this item could be really broken on the right characters. Maybe, I'm trying to think who else kind of comes to mind when I think auto attacks, but Greninja kinda, though he just does more straight damage rather than attacking super duper fast. And yeah, Muscle Band, 7 out of 10. Pretty small niche again, but the basic attack element of this is kind of interesting. So I could see this being used on every attacker or very few. So we'll have to see. Okay, this next item is the one that I think is going to be the strongest for physical attackers. It's the Scope Lens. Increases the damage of basic attacks. Basic attack critical hits. The higher the Pokemon's attack, the more the damage increases. So obviously, this is another late game item. The more you scale with your physical attack, the more damage you're going to do. And then on top of getting crits, more attack. This item is just all about getting more attack. Until we know exactly how much attack this is, I think this could be busted because it doesn't give an exact amount like other ones. So I think it's going to be pretty significant. And I don't know any physical attackers that sound like they wouldn't use this. You know, like Crustle would be insane. I think this could make Crustle busted, even more so than he was in the beta. Because his tankiness, along with his quick physical attacks, I'd be interested to see how well Scope Lens does on somebody like him. And overall, again, pretty impressive. All these items that we're listing out so far, a lot of them seem to scale towards late game. Except maybe the next couple, but we'll get to that. I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys think this will make physical attacking Pokemon like the meta? Or do you think there's still a chance for like special attackers to have their place? Because from the items we've been reading up to this point, it kind of feels like this game definitely has more physical attackers and is leaning towards buffing those physical attackers with these items. Alright, the next item here is the Aos Cookie. So when a Pokemon scores a goal, its max HP increases by 100. This again doesn't seem like it'd be bad on any Pokemon necessarily, but definitely has more benefits for higher HP and higher defense ones. Eldegoss, Snorlax, Crustles, maybe even like a Venusaur would push it from like a not kind of tanky range to like could fill the role as a tank. And obviously it dictates how often you score. And again, it doesn't seem like there's a minimum or a maximum, and it doesn't like scale. So if you score 3 points or 50, you still get the HP increased by 100. So this could also be good on like speedster Pokemon that need a little bit more HP. I'm thinking like your Pikachu's Talonflames again. And 100 doesn't seem like a lot right now. And this is definitely, I think, one of the few items that is kind of aimed more towards the first 3 or 4 minutes of the game. Where if you score like 5 times and get 500 bonus HP, you're probably, let's see, what level would it be by then? Like 7, 8, 9. Could be pretty powerful. 500 HP at that range. I don't know if it's game changing or absolutely like broken, but I'd give this one an 8 out of 10 just because of that early game potential that it has. The next one is the Score Shield. When a Pokemon is attempting to score a goal, it is granted a shield equivalent to 5% of its max HP, and its goals cannot be interrupted while it is shielded. If you think this sounds broken, I would agree with you. This seems absolutely crazy to me that you can't be interrupted while you're shielded. So to me, this says that this thing's going to have like a long cooldown. I'm thinking 45 seconds to a minute. Because if this thing has like a 10-15 second cooldown, there's no point to running any other items on this list. So 1 to 10, 11 potentially if it has a short cooldown. Hopefully they'll figure a way to balance this out, because if you didn't even have the shield of 5% of your HP, this item would still, I think, be really strong and really meta. And then you add that on top of it. So if you're like a Snorlax, a Crustle, Eldegoss, dunking, heck, I don't see how this is bad for any Pokemon. Like, seriously. This can fit any role: speedsters, junglers, attackers, defense, supports. You can't be interrupted sounds like broken. I don't know what else to say about it. I could see this item. It's walking a fine line. So let me know if you agree with that. If you think that this is the only item worth using, or there's only a couple here. But this one definitely stands out in the list that they sent. So our second to last item is the Shelbow. When a Pokemon hits with a move, it recovers a minimum of 45 HP. The higher the Pokemon's special attack, the more HP it recovers. So this is another item kind of leaning towards special attackers. I think this and the special attack specs are definitely going to be the gold standard for these special attackers. This one, again, it depends on how much your moves do. I'm thinking like Alolan Ninetales might be pretty significant with this on. Minimum 45, that's definitely not a lot. But we also don't know exactly how high this one scales. So I think if you definitely have a really strong special attacker, this could be good. And it's also important to note that when it says when a Pokemon hits with a move, so this isn't off basic attacks. I think that's really interesting. So you kind of have to have a special attacker with short cooldowns to really fit the Shelbow and maximize its efficiency. And I don't know the cooldowns of all the Pokemon off my head. Like I said, I've probably only seen 6 to 7 hours of beta gameplay, and that's definitely not enough to memorize special attackers' cooldowns at different levels yet. But I think this item definitely grows with like the knowledge that will come out when the game comes out, if that makes sense. So it's kind of hard to put on right here. I give it 5 out of 10. Doesn't seem too broken on many different Pokemon, and I think it could be a cool item. Again, pretty standard. Depending if unless that HP scales to absurd amounts and you're getting like full HP back or like half your HP back on 2 moves, then you might have a little bit of a problem, but I don't really see that happening. Hopefully, Timmy's or the people who make Pokemon Unite will think that through. Alright, and our last item here is the attack weight. When a Pokemon scores a goal, its attack increases by 6. So again, kind of leaning towards that physical attacker side. Scoring a goal, once again, like I said before in this video, that could be scoring 3 points or 50. You would still get that attack increase by 6. Kind of aiming towards that early game scaling. Because the later you are in the game, you're going to score less, but with more points. So, again, I could see this being on like a Crustle, could be absolutely broken, or a Garchomp, or those Pokemon that were really strong in beta, you know. And obviously, I don't have the stats, like I said before. The beta comes out, or not the beta, the full game releases in 2 days. So I can't tell you what they changed from the beta, but those are the Pokemon that I would probably see this on. I don't think this would be as strong as like a Scope Lens, where a physical attacker boosts its crit and damage, but it just seems like a worse Scope Lens. Maybe a better... No. It seems like a Scope Lens that's aimed toward more early game, like the first 4 to 5 minutes of the game. So, for the last item, it's not super exciting, but it's pretty interesting, and we'll see how it works. So yeah, all in all, thank you for watching this video. I hope you found my takes on these interesting and that got you to think more about how you feel about these items. Let me know if you have any disagreements, any more comments, who you think would be running what. But as a recap, the items that really stand out to me as they could be pretty strong would be the Float Stone, the Scope Lens, and maybe the Aos Cookie, and the Score Shield could be absolutely broken. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know if you have anything different. Thanks for sticking with the video. I'm going to be releasing a video here soon of the battle items themselves, so like the potions and whatnot. And yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully you stick around. Subscribe if you like Pokemon Unite or Pokemon Unite content, because I plan to make a whole lot of it. Lots of live streams, lots of videos when it comes out in a couple days. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and see you later.